Hello, Internet. How is everyone doing this morning? It's Saturday. We have our coffee. We're gonna play some D&D, so it's all good. How are you guys all this morning?
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Doing well this morning.
Somebody's alarm's going off. That's cool. A couple of things real quick. Reminders on shout out for Stream Beats. Or was our intro kind of thing, just kind of chill, relax. Stream Beats, DRM free music you can use for your YouTube videos or streaming as background music, which is great. Shout out for Syrinscape, because they have soundboards and soundtracks that you can use for your tabletop experience. This is a sound set I created for Shadowwatch with Underdark type music. So we'll be checking that out. Go to Syrinscape.com to learn more about their various sound sets. Check out their online player, which you can share out virtually with your players if you can't sit at the table, or download the player onto your device to check out the various sound sets. So check it out. Plug in a shout out for Patreon. If you like the show, you like what we're doing here, and you want to support us, the best way to support us is go to patreon.com/scuba studio. Select one of the Patreon levels there, and you'll get access to behind the scenes stuff, early releases for our YouTube videos, and other tidbits and info for things they're working on. With that, I don't have any other announcements to give right now, so we'll just kind of dive right in and get to it. Previously on Shadowwatch, the party had just finished their grueling battle with the webs. Group of a dozen giant spiders and a quartet of driders had set up shop and had been preying on a nearby conclave of deep gnomes, Sniblivlin, I think. Hey, I'm actually getting it right.
Smurf goblins.
The Sniblivlin had hired the party to provide a protection detail of sort while they worked on trying to collapse some of the extra tunnels to make it safer for their northern entrance to their enclave. Unfortunately, the group that they were with was captured. The party went in, went to attempt to rescue them. Dealt with this large group of arachnid creatures and abominations, and afterwards, while they were taking their breaths of relaxation and pause, then all of a sudden a badger appeared, followed by a Durgar named Volkin, who has been roaming around this region recently as well. They happened to cross paths, and as a group went through to go through the webs, find all of the deep gnomes that they had lost, as well as some corpses of a few other Durgar that weren't in good shape, and a few other creatures. And when we left off, they had heard coming down a corridor to the north, some screaming. It was muffled. It's kind of a high-pitched, kind of panicked screaming. Shragnaz sent his awakened book spirit Nat down the cavern to find out what was up. She laid eyes on a set of crudely positioned metal doors that were shut, and behind those doors was the screaming of a small humanoid creature that was extremely panicked and in distress. So now we bring it in for the party. As we left off, you guys were all kind of gathering up with the deep gnomes you had rescued, who are all groggy. Some of them are in a little more aware and awake than others, given the poisons they had been given from the spiders and being cocooned in webs. What do you guys wish to do? Or what are you guys thinking at this time?
I'm up at the hallway because I was the one who noticed it, and I don't know, I'll come back to the group, I guess, and let them know what I heard. I don't know what to do. What if it's another Neblin?
Thinking whatever we do, we don't want to leave the gnomes behind again.
Yeah. Do we drag them with us into a potentially dangerous situation?
That's the question, isn't it? Is Nat able to find a way to peek through and see what we're dealing with on those doors, Shrag?
Sadly not. So that can move through people but not through objects. So unfortunately we're probably going to have to open the doors. But I agree, we probably need to actually bring all the gnomes up with us to at least keep them close by.
I'm going to take Morin and kind of circle the mouth of the hallway. It's a hallway, you said, right? Like a cavern?
Yeah, it's a corridor. It's
Corridor?
roughly 10 foot wide, 10 foot high. It's very kind of narrow. You see some stalagmites and stalactites come through. A couple of turns. Yeah, say
It's
again?
like natural?
Yes.
It's natural? Okay, yeah, I'd like to do some tracking in that area to see if I can see any prints, whether humanoid or beast-like, with my badger as well.
All right, go ahead and roll a survival check for me.
Yeah. So yeah, so I'll track. Oh, that's not great. It's an 8 for me. But I also want to use more to do some sniffing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to get her to kind of smell around and see if she can sense anything. I get advantage on perception checks.
Keen senses.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's sorry.
That's cool.
I'm using digital dice today.
We're in trouble.
It's a 19 for her.
All right. So she can smell that there's. She's able to pick on that there's several smells that are down there. So she can smell things that are living and other stuff that are somewhat familiar. As for yourself, looking about, you see there is a light coat of webbing along the wall, so the spiders look like they may have been passing through here, but it's not as thick as the area you guys were all just in and had conducted your battle.
Okay.
Not quite sure how does Morin communicate different types of creatures and signals.
Well, she would probably like sniff and then like scratch in an area, and I'll go over and kind of take a look at what she's putting my attention to.
She gives you the indication that there's a humanoid down there. There is definitely something down the corridor that she can smell.
Okay.
And of course, you can hear the screaming, and then there's a break, and then you hear it, and it just sounds completely horrible because it's that panicked screaming.
Is there any like language to the screaming or anything like that, or is it just?
At this point, no. It's more or less just that kind of beast, kind of savage panic. It's like any sense of language and civilization are kind of gone from it. You can picture like you're just in absolute terror, kind of just lose all faculty of language.
But it sounds like a humanoid of some sort.
Yeah, it's a humanoid and humanoid. Yeah.
How far are we from the doors at this point?
You haven't told me you started down the cavern.
So I think Nat would still be down by the door because she was communicating back, just sort of transmitting her sense and stuff, so she'd be near the door.
Yeah, it's about 150 feet. So it's in range for Nat. She's kind of hovering there, looking at the doors. It looks like the cavern is kind of collapsed, and then these doors were kind of roughly fitted in there at some point.
Can she hear anything else in there other than the screaming voice?
No.
Okay.
Because the doors are kind of fit in there, are there any gaps or anything that she might be able to peer through?
Have Nat give me a investigation.
Okay. Oh, that was so toying. That was toying with me. It was going to be a natural 20, and then just flipped over to 14. That's still an 18. I'll go with that. I'm happy.
Be worse.
All right. So for the door construction, they're in there, and they're fitted in there. There isn't much of There's a few gaps, but not anything really large. It's because because of that the way they're instructed. For what? And what was the other thing? And any other sounds? There's some subtle sounds of like natural gas kind of things, kind of sounds.
Okay.
Do I know what that is based on my experience down here?
Go ahead and give me a nature check.
Yeah. I get advantage, right? Hang on 1 second.
You say natural gas sounds. What exactly do you mean by that?
Like some
don't
gas
know
that's
what that
every so often there's a release of gas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if that thing's really scared.
So that's an 11 because I get my proficiency gets doubled for that skill.
Okay. Based on the description you're hearing through Shrag and Nat's communicating with Shrag's explaining it over, listening to it, it's kind of hard to pinpoint, but you do know that there are several plant-based creatures that may release a type of gas at some point, but you're not quite sure which one it is.
So,
That would sit with the stuff we've seen in the caverns. That would follow through.
Say that again, Shrag.
Just saying, with the stuff we've heard on the other plant life in the caverns, that would certainly follow through.
Yeah. I'd like to go over to the group of gnomes
Okay.
and
They're all-
find one that looks more coherent than the others, and just kind of crouch down. I'll give them some rations, and I don't know the state that you were in when they brought you in here, but did you see anything go down that hallway?
Oh, the gnomes kind of people is like one of them who's kind of like the leader of that group. You've talked with several times. He looks about us as it looks like there's one. They have a couple of people they didn't have initially that were lost several beforehand that you managed to save, but there is a member of the group that they can't take account of. I'm not sure where he is, but they probably they couldn't tell you. They were unconscious at the time.
I'd like to move like within range where I might be able to get within 60 feet or so of what I estimate the sounds to be coming from or generated by, and use divine sense to detect good and evil.
Okie dokie.
You'll notice that Nat will come back and just hang behind you so she doesn't get caught in that spell effect.
That tells me a little something, something.
All right. Do you cast and tell me again what that does?
So, as an action, you can detect good and evil. Until the end of your next turn, you can sense anything affected by the Howl spell or know the location of any celestial fiend undead within 60 feet that was not behind total cover, 4 times per long rest.
Not detecting anything that really kind of blips on that barometer.
Okay.
And just to note, I should have had advantage on that survival check if I was tracking beasts or aberrations. For the spiders, and I also, because of my natural explorer in the Underdark ability, and I spent more than an hour down here, I actually learned the exact number, sizes, and how long ago they passed through the area.
Okay.
So you're saying the spiders were the only thing that passed through this area that I could see?
That left tracks.
Any other beasts?
Not in the last week or so.
Okay. So how many spiders and how recently did they pass through here?
A couple of, you see spider leg tracks that pass through, probably about a day ago.
And which way were they coming?
You see a set that kind of walk in, and then they come back out. So actually, less than a day, because it's been less than a day since the gnomes were all captured.
Right.
From the space that we're in here, there's the entry that we came through from the larger hall, and then there's the passage to the north. Are there any other passages in this particular area?
No.
Okay.
Everything else is kind of caved in. There's a small hole on the south side, but
right there.
it's extremely tiny.
Okay. I'm going to turn to the party and say if that's one of the gnomes, we really should make movement to go recover it and return it back to this group. I'm thinking that even though we have just finished this arduous battle, it's best if we proceed quickly.
Yeah, I will turn to the rest of the gnomes and say, I think we know where your friend is, but we have to traverse a little bit more down here. Are you guys going to be okay? Can you follow us?
I mean, would it
The gnomes are nowhere near you, so I don't know. The gnomes are way down here with me, so we don't know anything that's going on.
I thought we brought them. I was going to say, I thought we brought them back in with us.
No, that's why I'm down here with them, making sure nothing happens to them. I don't know anything that's going on.
Okay.
Well, I said earlier that I returned to the gnomes and I was talking to them.
Yeah, she just didn't move her token on the roll 20 because we're not there yet.
So, can we get then Obsidian and the gnomes all together in that room so that we can relay the information and
I did also say that I relayed all the information of what was going on.
Yeah, I think bringing them up to this room would be good because it's a defensible doorway. We're going to be down the corridor that comes out of it, so at least it's in one place that's defensible. So
yeah, that's kind of why I was wondering what other entrances there were, so that we can think about it that way. Yeah.
So let's bring them up and head down.
You want to have the gnomes follow you
into that top room. So that room that is north of that main kind of chamber with all the pillars in.
Okay.
Is bring them into that room there, probably bring them into that top right-hand corner, which is safe. Obviously, it's only in the single doorway to then have to defend, and maybe leave a couple of people here whilst the rest of us investigate the tunnel.
Either that, or maybe we could leave Nat with them while we go and handle this issue, and she can let us know if anything happens to them.
Yeah. She can actually probably hover in. So if I move her into this room here, she can keep an eye on that doorway southwards, and then that'll give them some time to react. And again, I'm sure they can probably blend into the rock anyway and hide in that room.
Since it's been like a month, I cannot remember if I used my bag of tricks today.
You used your bag of tricks before you engaged the hook horrors and intellect devourers.
Yeah.
It has not been a long rest since then.
Oh,
man.
You had a short rest, but it has not been a long rest.
All right. Sorry, no animal friends.
Shragnaz will look at you expectantly, like look at you and then look at the bag and then look at you and look at the bag and then be like, oh no.
Sorry, Shraggy.
I'm counting gnomes and I only count 8, so I would like to know where the other 2 are because I don't want to lose track of them.
They're hiding.
That's fine. I just want to make sure. Thank you.
Now be careful what you ask for, because you might bring other things back as well.
I have all of 3 spell slots left.
I think we need to move quickly. I don't think we have time to take a long rest here.
No, definitely not.
They're doing a lot of They're doing a lot of talking in a language I don't understand. So I'm just going to take Morn and I'm going to start stealthing up the pathway.
Alrighty. Go and roll a stealth check.
That's 24.
Yep. The rest of you do not notice because even Anari's high passive is like gone. You guys look around and Volkin and Morin are just gone.
Okay. Apparently our new friend has disappeared, so what should we do here?
I think we need to get moving and try to recover this gnome. I don't think we need to spend a lot of time discussing. And then maybe to the gnomes, we go ahead and tell them to go ahead and blend into the rock and hide until we can return.
Yeah, we'll go and find their friend.
And let them know that there is someone guarding and that can communicate with us if something comes near them.
And then head down the passage.
All right.
Stealthily.
Go ahead
So
and
There is a
roll
wild
stealth
magic in
checks.
play.
Okay, that's 28.
Okay.
Here we go again.
Let's go and hide it. Stealth.
So I move at regular speed
Yep.
in my favorite terrain while stealthing, and Morin can as well.
All right.
But obviously moving carefully. I also ignore dangerous terrain, as does the party in my favorite terrain.
Nice.
Do they have to be within a certain distance of you?
That is a great question, Scoob.
Well, I just rolled a nat 20 on my stealth check.
Nice.
Oh, there's a inspiration for Volkin as well in the chat.
All it says is, while traveling for an hour or more in your choosing trip, which I have been, I've been down here for a long time. Difficult terrain doesn't slow your group's travel. Difficult, not dangerous.
Okay.
Your group can't become lost except by magical means, and you remain alert to danger even when you are engaged in another activity. Find twice as much food foraging, blah, 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 blah.
So it doesn't really say. So, okay. So probably extend that over within reason. So
Yeah.
Yep.
And I'm going to move another 30 ahead. If I see any sort of plant life or any sort of danger, I'll stop.
Okay.
I'll dash ahead.
Okay. Should get you to right where the cavern starts to turn, and so that the people at home can see what I'm talking about. Here we go.
Cool.
I wonder where that strange man and his badger went. I guess he left.
Yep.
Are those crystals casting any light, Scoob?
A dim light of about 10 feet.
Okay.
Oh, and I collected some of those, didn't I?
You attempted to. You didn't tell me whether or not you broke a crystal to do it.
I wanted to.
Okay, go ahead and roll just so we can catch that up. Go ahead and roll a strength check.
I'm so strong.
Vulcan,
that's
you have a
great.
D4 inspiration you could use at your discretion.
Well, thank you, but it's not going to help here because that was a 3 plus 0.
No, you go and you kind of go and you grab it. It's just it doesn't budge, but you do feel a slight tingle across your hand when you go to touch it.
Strange.
Fine.
It's tingly. We don't have time for this.
Yeah.
No, we don't.
I'm gonna go ahead and try to move forward and see if I can determine where Volkin went, and I'm imagining probably that he got tired of waiting and dashed ahead. So, see if I can catch up with him.
All right. As soon as you get to that, go and roll a perception.
And we're doing this stealthily, right? Because we don't want to announce our presence to the upcoming door.
That'll be a
Yeah.
24.
Okay. Yeah, it's you kind of see kind of where Volkin and Morin are the path comes up and it turns pretty sharply. There's a little bit of ambient light off the crystal.
Okay.
as you get closer to it, and then you see them. You see a pit area with some stalactites, some fungi, the crystal, and across from you is the big metal door. There appears to be a double door that's closed, and you're hearing that screaming. It sounds labored at this point.
I'll ask in Underdark to Volkin. My friend, what have you heard or what have you observed?
Nothing yet, but the screams are coming through that door. I'm gonna step up to that pit and carefully take a look in.
Okay.
I was gonna say I'm worried about that pit. So.
Okay. You see the pit it just kind of extends down where you can't see any further, like as you look down your vision goes, but it looks like it keeps going past your vision.
Past 120 feet?
Yep.
It's very deep.
Light on a rock and throw it down there.
Okay. The light, you see the rock fall, and you watch the light, and Volkin, you can see the light pass, and then the light passes through your vision.
So it's like you cast wild magic in play.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, it is there.
No 7, no 7, no 7.
Wasn't a 7, 72.
72.
72. Dun dun dun. You gain resistance to all damage for the next minute.
Sweet.
Something
That
good.
works.
I
Quick,
like
somebody
it.
hit her.
And the minute's over.
So
All right.
you drop the stone. Go ahead and give me a everybody give me a perception check as you're as you're kind of, I imagine you're all kind of around there trying to hear this.
It's an 18.
11 for me.
24.
Drag stood behind a rock, it's fine.
Oh, that's a 23 for me.
All right. So Vulcan, Obsidian, and Willhelminia, as you hear another 2 minutes after you lose sight of the rock, you hear a faint hook as it hits the ground, and that just kind of echoes back up.
I don't recommend going down there, guys.
That is very, very deep.
Very, 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 very deep.
And then I repeat the same thing in very broken undercommon.
Scoob, what's the collection of like fungi and stuff to the right of the pit there? I just want to scan the area and make sure there's no like dangerous Underdark plant life or anything that we have to worry about in this chamber.
Yeah, it's just it appears to just be kind of the normal fungus and lichen that grow in the Underdark.
Okay, so nothing dangerous in here that I can see?
No.
Okay.
No brown mold.
Go ahead and give me a nature check on it.
Yeah. Well, that's a 20 or 4. So we're going to take the 20.
Okay. Actually taking kind of look over it, you do see that there are some parts of it that are actually edible.
Yeah.
And pretty good as far as for food and spices. So nothing dangerous.
Yeah, I'm going to take some of that.
Yep.
I'll start collecting some of it. And sure, sorry, that shouldn't have been an advantage. That should have been with a +2, so it would have been 22.
That works. Another dish pickle with his wild magic. I love it.
Oh man. So the doors to the north,
Yes.
up in this area,
Hmm.
I'm gonna try to stealthily move over in that direction,
Okay.
Same.
and
All right.
And is there any way that I can? You said there were some small gaps and so forth. Is there any way that I could carefully make a larger gap to peer through and see if I can see anything?
That would be a strength check.
Okay. Strength athletics or just straight strength?
Strength athletics.
I would say I would help you with that, but my strength is horrible.
That's all right. It's a 21.
You go in there and you try to force, and it doesn't really budge. Even though looking at the door in the frame, you can tell that it's not a natural part of the fact that this was kind of a renovation that they put this door in there. It still is pretty well in place. You can kind of brush away a little bit, make a little bit of a hole bigger to kind of look through, but you're not going to be like trying to force and get any kind of small creature through.
Right. I just basically was trying to get enough to get a peephole into the room so that I could see what's in there if I could.
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay. I'll go ahead and do that then and peer through to see what I can find.
All right.
And another wild magic.
Got 2 now.
Yep. Well, we'll see what happens. Okay. All right. So as you, Anari, go ahead and give me a investigation check.
Oh, investigation can do. That will be a 21.
Okay. As you kind of look through, you see a bunch of large fungus growths. You can kind of smell the fungi that's coming from there, as well as very faint stench of like rotting meat. You see 3 kind of floating plant creatures that look like the gas spore you encountered before, and in a frenzied panic state, you see a Sniblivin in like these tattered rags, essentially, darting back and forth, trying to avoid 2 of them as they just kind of float over. And as they get close, he darts to another side. There's one that's just kind of sitting there lazily, just kind of looking about, not really doing anything. But you can kind of see that he's tired. He's getting slower. He trips, tries to get back up, and keeps trying to evade.
Do the doors open in or out?
They would open out.
Okay. I'm going to turn to the rest of the group and in Undercommon relay the information softly that I have observed. And it looks like 3 of those gas spore things that we had first encountered that were mimicking beholders.
We need to get them out of that because they go boom when you hit them.
From the construction of the door and kind of the difficulty I had with getting that peephole, how hard is it going to be to open these doors, does it appear?
You see a bar across, and you see the way the hinges are. It looks like you could probably lift the holding bar and then just pull the doors open.
Okay, so not too difficult. All right.
How big is the room?
From what Anari can see on the inside?
Yep.
It's about 50 feet across.
Do I know anything extra about these spore-like creatures?
Give me a nature check real quick.
I'm gonna say no with an 8.
Nope. Other than they're commonly confused with beholders.
Okay.
Will, what if we use the brooms to distract them? I'll go in, distract them. You go in and fly over to the gnome and pick them up.
Really quick, if I remember correctly, was it Willhelminia? Did you have a fan that could create a gust of wind?
I don't have the fan. Obsidian.
Obsidian has the fan.
Yes.
That-
Could we create a gust of wind that would blow these floaty things away from where we need to be, and we can recover the gnome and then lock them in the doors, or lock them behind the doors again?
Blow them up. Yeah, make them go boom.
You just like it when things go boom, Shrag.
Oh yeah.
I'm just thinking like a balloon, it doesn't necessarily explode if you put a gust of wind to it. It's when you poke them that they go boom.
Oh yeah.
But what if they hit the side of a cavern and hit something sharp? Could that make them go boom?
Well, we run that risk regardless, but at least this way there's a chance that it may not go boom.
So why don't we call the goblin over, get him to run over to us, and then push those back, and then blow them up when we know they're hopefully far enough away from anything. Since they could blow each other up, doesn't really matter as long as the gnome's clear of the explosion.
Mhm.
We don't really care about them, do we? And we know we can kill them.
That's
How many are there?
3 I saw.
Did you see the whole room?
Only into 60 feet. My dark vision only reaches 60 feet.
Then
So you
at
didn't
the
see the
opposite
back wall.
corner from the angle you looked at, you saw another set of doors. And the room itself is only about 50 feet by 50 feet. So you can see it appears to be a fairly square room.
So we could gust them to the far end, get the gnome out.
Right now,
Secure the doors again.
Right now, the gnome is on the far side of the room, and the spores are in between you and the gnome.
Is there a pattern? Are they kind of rotating that
That's-
pattern, or is he staying over there and they're staying?
He waits till you kind of watched him wait till they got close, and then he darted to a side because they move a few feet at a time.
Yeah.
So right
that's
now,
what
in his latest dart to move,
He moved away.
he moved away to the far side of the room.
And that's what I'm thinking. If we wait until he darts to our side of the room, away between the us and them, then that would be the point that we would want to open the doors, pull him out, gust them away, lock them in again.
Okay.
You people talk too much. I'm going to approach the door.
All right.
And you said there's a bar across it?
Yeah. You see that the way it's constructed, it's dwarven in nature, so you're very familiar with the way the doors were attached and the bar goes across.
And is it on a swivel, or does it just come off?
It's just it's a drop bar. You just kind of you pick it up, pull it off.
Okay, so I'm gonna pick it up. I'm gonna drop it in front of the door.
Okay.
And I'm going to get Morin to come over and stand right in front of the door, and I'm gonna stand right behind her.
Okay.
I'm gonna take out both my glowing hand axes. And I'm gonna command her to stand up and smack the door, so that when she smacks it, is it the double door?
Yeah, it's a double door. He pulls out.
It opens towards
opens this
us.
way.
Yeah.
Dang it.
Yeah.
That's cool.
What I when I see him kind of moving
Balance.
to do this, I'm going to go ahead and move with him and say, if we work together, we can open the doors and then move forward.
Okay.
Track stood behind you with like a fireball in his hand ticking away.
Yeah.
And I will have a cure wounds prepared in case anything happens to the guy, and I'm just kind of hovering, waiting behind them.
Okay.
I'm assuming I can't open the doors and toss my axes at the same time.
It would be an action. It'd be an action to open the door, and then do you make 2 attack actions or just 1?
Yeah, 2 attacks.
Then you could open the door with 1 action and throw an axe with a 2nd action.
And do we see the axes in his hands?
Yeah, you see him pull out, and you see the heads kind of start to glow a little, a faint arcane glow.
And in broken undercommon, I'd like to say, don't do that. They explode, and we'll kill the gnome behind it, or in there with them.
It's okay. We fix him after. Open the door.
All right. When Volkin says open the door, I'll go ahead and I'll use one of my actions, because I also get 2 attack actions. I will use one of my actions to open the door.
Okay.
And as soon as the doors open, I'm gonna let them both fly, one at each of the spores.
Alrighty. Doors open.
Oh, they're big.
Can I get on the broom and fly in and fly towards the gnome?
All right, the room isn't very tall, so they're hovering about halfway up. So so it's about 15 feet. Yeah, the room height is about 15 feet as you jump in, and they're hovering they're hovering at like just 5 feet. Their tentacles are dropping at that 5 foot. They're hovering about halfway up the room space, so it'd be a tight fit to kind of dart around them.
Okay, yeah. So I want to let
Wait.
the bottom and the middle one.
The bottom and the middle one. Okay.
Yeah.
Roll for attacks.
Oh, that wasn't a good one. That's a 10 for the first attack. That's a 21 for the second attack.
Both hit.
And that's an 8 damage.
All right. Both hit. Both deal damage. You see both spores explode.
Okay. And the axes hit and then back to my hands.
And I go bursting through the room at full speed to try to get to the Sverfneblin.
All right.
Yeah,
What kind?
I'm doing the same.
What kind of explosion do they make?
We're about to find out.
Shrag, having seen these explode because he killed the last one and watched what happened, he's just gonna just quietly sit down on the floor and go, "Shragnaz, what is it? I thought I was bad."
So Obsidian flying in, Will rushing in. At the same time, Volkin threw his axes.
Yeah.
How far into the room did you two get as you threw the axes?
I wasn't in the room.
I know you're not, Volkin.
Yeah,
Volkin and
right at the
Anarion
door.
are at the doors.
Right.
It was Will and Obsidian who rushed in.
So which two was he aiming at? Because I probably would have gone in that direction.
Yeah, they went for the south and the middle.
The middle and the south. Yeah.
The two actually line us home.
Well, I mean, I do 50 feet of movement on a broom, so does Will. So we would have gotten pretty far in as they exploded.
Okay. Then
And
I need
Steve-
I need you two to make Constitution saving throws. And then I need to make one for our gnome friend.
And Steve, what I would have done is I would have tossed them and then with my movement turned around the corner and like back to the wall in the other cavern.
Okay.
Out of the door, and then my axes would have like around the corner and landed in my hands while I had my back to the wall.
Yeah.
Like the Hitman,
So you throw them and then dart back around and then hold your
Yeah.
hands and all of a sudden
Yeah.
they're in your
Yeah.
hands.
Yeah.
As you saw them rush in, and you heard the impact, and then you hear the pop as both of them exploded.
Oh.
It was
we
almost
need
a
to-
natural 1, but then it became a 22.
Do we need to do 2 since 2 of them died?
Yes, two Constitution saves.
So I had a 15 and a 16. I rolled an 11 and 12.
Just out of interest, would that not maybe touch the third one as well?
No, because it doesn't. Oh, yeah. Yeah, no. The third one would be is immune to the effect.
That's okay then. That's cool. Otherwise, it'd have been 3 saves.
No, not yet.
That'd have been hilarious.
Over the gnome.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. So I would have gotten to the gnome.
You've gotten to the gnome. Yep.
Yeah. We have 50 feet on the brooms.
All right.
Yeah, and then as soon as I get into range with him, I will do my held cure wounds if it looks like he's taken any damage.
Fortunately, he does not save against it. Will, what'd you get on your con saves?
22 and an 18.
Okay, you two both save against the against it. So let me just double check. All right, and you guys pass the save, so you don't have to worry about that.
We never found out what the last one did because he was out of range when he popped.
Yeah.
And I think Shrag was the only one that saw him when he blew up, wasn't he? Or was he?
I told you they go boom.
From the effects of the explosion, can I tell what's going on?
Yeah. When you see the creature explode in a puff of like dust and smaller spores. You see Obsidian and Will and the deep gnome all breathe it in and start to cough. But they don't. But Will and Obsidian seem to kind of resist against it, while the deep gnome starts to really hack and cough, and see him kind of drop to one knee as that almost dropped him.
What does that stay in the area?
It lasts a little bit, and then it starts to just fade down.
All right. I'm going to move over to close to where the gnome is.
Okay.
Oh,
He just
I hit-
recovered 12 hit points from my cure wounds.
And
Okay.
wild magic.
Oh, son of a...
Son of a biscuits and gravy.
Thank you, this pickle.
And when I get within range to touch the gnome, I will touch him and lay on hands for 5 points. Well, let me back up before I do that. Do I need to do a medicine check, or can I tell whether he's poisoned or not?
Hold that thought. I need Will to roll her D100
Okay.
to make
I
sure
just
I'm
did.
getting the
So,
effect
question.
right.
I got a 50 on the double digit dice and then a 10 on the single digit. So does that make that a 60?
No, it's a 50.
That makes it a 50.
It's
50.
It's a 50 and a 0, so it's 50.
But the 0, okay, I see that on the that's confusing.
When you
'cause the
roll a
0 is
D100, when you
10.
roll a D100, the lower one is that it's either going to be 0 up to 9, and then there's
Okay.
the double digit dice. So you got a
Okay.
50.
50 on the nose.
You can't speak for the next minute. Whenever you do, pink bubbles float out of your mouth.
I've had that.
Yeah.
So did I get my cure wounds out then?
Yes, you got your cure wounds out, and then when you go to say something,
Yeah. So I reach out and touch him on the shoulder, and the light comes out of my hand and covers his body, and he recovers his hit points. And I go to say, "Are you feeling better?" And I just open my mouth and
yep. So Anara, you wanted to check and see if he was poisoned?
Well, I can lay on hands, and I can either cure a disease or neutralize a poison by spending five points. So I want to try to determine if he's poisoned or has a disease. So I need to do a medicine check or what?
Yep, go ahead and do a medicine check.
Yeah, that's going to be a 7.
He coughs, but after Will gives him the cure wounds, he seems to be fine.
Based on what we saw with the other gnomes, we've had to cure them from other effects. So I'm thinking I might need to do it anyway.
I think I can't say anything. I have bubbles. Thanks, Dish Pickle.
How healthy does he look at this point?
Will, you said he got what, 12 hit points back?
Yep.
He's pretty coherent now. I mean, he's not at full, but he's pretty close.
All right. Well, based on the fact that these are spores, I'm gonna go ahead. If he's not quite at full, I'll give him another 5 anyway, and just on the chance, I'll use it to do the cure disease.
Okay.
So lay on hands, 5 points he recovers back, and then
Alright.
it would be cure disease if he has one.
Okay.
And seeing Will can't speak, I'm going to tell her to get the gnome out of here on the broom.
All right. I'll scoop him up, put him on the berm behind me, and fly out, avoiding the melee range of that thing.
And Anari, go and roll your D100 for wild magic, because the lay on hands is still magic.
Okay.
Just while you're doing that, I'm going to ready an action that as soon as they clear the room, I'm going to pop the other spore with
Okay.
a flame bolt before it starts coming after us once they're clear.
96.
Ooh. Big
Either
numbers.
really good or really bad.
Usually how it goes.
You and all creatures within 30 feet of you gain vulnerability to piercing damage for the next minute.
Wonderful.
Nobody gets stabbed.
So we know 96 is bad.
Yeah, so no sharp tools and nobody run into big spiky rocks.
So
Yeah,
you
what-
said there's
30 feet of me. So
30
that
feet,
means
yeah. So
that means that Shrag and Volkin are excluded. It's just me and
you, Will, Obsidian, and the gnome.
Yeah. Okay.
and you said
um,
there was a set of doors.
And the gas spore is also vulnerable. All creatures.
Him and his 1 hit point. Ooh.
Yeah, there's another set of doors in here.
Yes, you
Yeah,
do see
so-
another set of doors that lead out. They're currently closed. You can't see the bar.
Yeah,
I'd
let's
like to
know whether-
listen in to see if I can hear anything behind it.
No, I think we need to pull out and get rested up. We need to get this guy out quickly.
I
Let's
just want to see
regroup.
if I hear another screaming gnome.
You put your ear up against the door. You can't hear anything on the other side of the door.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm thinking we need to fall back to that
Yep.
room that we can
Agreed.
defend, and bring the gnome with us.
Is there
Lock
another
this-
spore in this room still?
Yeah, one more
Yeah,
left.
there's one more
We'll
spore
lock-
still alive,
We
and
can
it's
lock
drifting
him in.
towards you. So
Thanks.
And is there
Okay.
any? Wait, yeah. If I come around the corner there, is there still people in the room?
Yep. The 4 of them are
The 4 of us.
still on the other end of the room. Anari did a heal. Obsidian went to listen to the door. Will did a heal. The spore moved. Shrag is readying an action to
Yeah.
hit the spore once they get out of the room. So we're technically back to you, Volkin. You see the one spore is starting to drift kind of lazily toward the party on the other
Yeah.
end of the room.
Yeah. So in Undercommon, I yell, "Get clear!" and I'm gonna ready an attack action with
Yep.
both hand axes until they're clear.
Okay. So
I'm gonna
Anari,
grab the
Will,
gnome.
and Obsidian.
I already grabbed the gnome.
You already grabbed him?
Yeah, I
Okay.
put him on my broom and started flying out.
Okay, good to go. Then I'm gonna exfil with them.
Okay.
As well.
All right. They clear the room. Shrag.
Incoming firebolt! Fire!
So both Shrag and Vulcan both release their attacks. Go ahead and roll. Go ahead and go ahead and just roll for the sake of whether or not you miss.
Yeah, it's 14 to hit.
Okay, Vulcan.
23 and 18.
All right. Yeah. All of them hit, and as soon as you see them all impact, you see it explode in the room, and it is dead.
When Vulcan's axes make it back to him, I'm gonna close the door and put the bar back on it.
Okay.
Wonder why they locked this one in here with the spores.
They were locking the gnome in, so he couldn't escape.
Did you guys investigate the room at all?
Not yet. We all, before we get into anything too much, we all need a long rest.
Yeah.
We all had a pretty bad battle.
I think we'll So yeah, to answer the first thing, Will, you guys were looking in there, you saw that in this room there was these large groups of fungus. Some of them were grown had grown really large, some were some not so much. You also saw bones and flesh of creatures that looked like they had exploded after a while, with little fungus growing up on them as well.
Anything notable? Sorry, anything notable for me regarding all the fungus in the room? Like anything different?
Some of it was definitely dangerous. You saw, but the group that managed to avoid it. There was these two large kind of statues in the center of the room, but quite a bit of the fungus in there. You definitely didn't want to mess with.
Okay.
What were the statues?
Just some just a set of gargoyle-like statues sitting in there, like a representation of a beast of some type.
Interesting. Well, it's quiet for the first time in a long time, and I am drained of magic. I think we need to sleep. Since it's been a minute, I don't remember how far away we are from like a camp. We're like a couple days away, right?
No, but remember what we had to traverse to get here. We do not want to try that.
Oh, right.
At least not without a rest, for sure.
Yeah.
Just before we do that, actually, Dish Pickle, I didn't realize that he's actually if there is another wild magic, there's actually been 3, so let me roll for my firebolt.
Oh, right. Oh, jeez.
Ooh, 100.
You regain all expended spell slot.
Well, let's go.
I don't know about you guys, I feel great.
Me and Shrag.
I think Shrag's a halfling. He's got halfling luck. He's not really a goblin. He's a freaking halfling.
What can I say? The wild magic loves me.
Oh my goodness.
So we'd like to get into an area where we can get enough room to do the hut as well, I would think.
As I say, can't we go back to the room where we had the gnomes before and take our long rest there?
I will give up my space in the hut for a gnome because we're not all going to fit in there.
How big is the hut?
So
It says that 9 medium-sized creatures can fit in there.
Yeah, 9 creatures of medium size or smaller can fit inside the dome with you.
And we've got like 12 people with us.
Yeah, and it automatically fails if you've got a large creature or more than 9 creatures in there.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'll stay outside as well.
Yeah, so will I. I don't need to be in there.
As far as that goes, Anarion's doing okay. I don't need to be in the hut either.
That means Shrag and 8 of the gnomes. The 8 worst looking.
Yeah, because Shrag has to be in there or it won't work.
Yeah.
Right. And if he leaves, it automatically ends. So.
Yep.
So for sake of things, so it sounds like you guys are going to make camp right there at the entrance to this outpost area of the webs to get a long rest.
If it's a defensible area, it would be good to have like a wall at our back.
Well, there's a few walls and just a small cave that extends up that you can, but it's not big enough for a medium or larger creature.
Okay.
I mean, technically speaking, I'm just double check the hook, because I think the hook can't be destroyed, so why don't we just use the hook to plug the hole?
Could
Yeah,
totally do that.
all
Yeah,
the creatures and objects are barred from passing through it, so we just cast the hook, so the back
So
of
it blocks it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
good
pretty much
plan.
actually, where I'm actually sat, actually, I realised I've still got that light aura on Scoob, and that's probably finished now. But actually, pretty much that will fill the area of what the hook would be.
Yeah.
We don't have any more wild magics, do we?
Not currently.
Cast it quick.
It's in. I've cast it. It's gone.
Okay.
Cast it before they throw some wild magic out there.
All right, so you
Yeah.
guys are able to set up spot, defensible. You're making camp. What is your what is your routine? What are you doing? How are you setting watches? What are you doing? Doing what?
How many ways in and out of our camp area that we're in? I can't see where we're at exactly.
Yeah, I can't either.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's blacked out for me too.
Yeah, we should make sure there's a watch at each entrance.
One of the things I was gonna say is before I've got 10 points of lay on hands left, and I know we still had a couple of the gnomes that were poisoned by the spiders.
Good call.
So I want to recover. I'll use my last 10 points to heal 2 of them before taking the long rest. And then as an elf, I don't really need to sleep, so I can be standing watch while I'm in my trance.
All right, so the area you guys are in, there's the cave that leads up, and then there's the doorway that leads into the outpost that all the spiders were at. You still have the Drider corpse on the stairs. There's a wall on the south where there's a little bit of a, and then on the eastern side of it, there's a little bit of a little kind of cubby, but there's a cluster of mold growing there, so you kind of avoid that. But overall, that area right around that is fairly secure in the sense there's only 2 ways in. One way they have to pass through through the webs, where there are still several creatures left in the webs, and then there's the path that led up to that nursery, for lack of a better term.
Shrag, can Nat keep watch as well? Maybe set
Yeah.
her a little bit out so we get an early warning.
Yeah. I mean, obviously I'll be resting, so she won't be able to communicate. But I mean, if we put her down watching that bottom area, I mean, she's also more or less there anyway, so yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
I'm also going to set 2 hunting traps. You said there's 2 entrances into this chamber?
Yep. One I'm pinging. One that's leading into the outpost, and the other one that's leading down the path toward the nursery.
Yeah, okay. So I'm going to set up 1 in each of those areas.
Okay.
Well hidden, just outside of, and I just let everybody know not to walk down that area.
Very
All right.
cool.
Good thinking, my friend.
And then I'm going to, as I typically do, Morin lies down, and then I just kind of cross my arms and lie against her.
Are you guys setting watches?
Badger snuggles.
Yeah.
All right. Who's taking the first watch?
I'll take first watch.
Yep.
It can just be one of us and Nat, right?
Yeah, I mean, technically speaking, that's a magical creature which doesn't need sleep or rest.
I'll take second watch.
Okay.
I'll take third.
I'll take last watch. Whenever the last one is.
Right.
How long are the watch windows?
Couple of hours.
Yeah, each?
2, 4, 6, 4 of you. 2 hours. 2 hours each would let you kind of still do that and then get your long rest.
Yeah, and I could actually, I only need 4 hours, so I can actually pull 2 watches if needed.
I'll take the last watch.
All right.
Okay.
Craggy, are you going to
There's
take a
our
watch
plan.
with somebody?
I've got to maintain the hut. I've got to stay in there.
Okay. So,
Watch
all
the
right.
gnome. He's our babysitter today. And there was a couple gnomes that wouldn't fit in there, right? Okay.
I'm thinking, I mean, over the
So we
course
had-
of
We
the
have
evening,
11 gnomes now. Sorry, John.
I say, could we not just rotate them in out of the hut, give some of them a bit of a rest, and then rotate a couple out and put the other ones in, so at least they all get a bit of rest and sleep.
Sounds good.
Okay, so going through first watch, or anything else you're doing to set kit as far as setting up camp for the night.
Other than just healing 2 more of the gnomes that are poisoned, how many left are poisoned?
Had 4 that are poisoned. You said you healed 2 more.
Yep. That was the last of my lay on hands before the long rest.
All right. So there's still 2 that are still technically poisoned.
Okay, we'll take care of them in the morning.
All right. Setting in first watch.
I'll just give everybody like a little rations meal in case everybody's hungry.
Mix up some rations.
Yep, offer them my water skin because I think I've got an extra one. Just kind of make sure they're all doing okay. I'm just kind of doting on them like a little nurse.
All right. All right. So first watch comes in. Inari, what are you doing? What do you do for your watch?
Just watching the entrances and preparing to trance.
Go ahead and give me a perception.
$25.
All right. As you're there, as you're kind of looking about, you don't hear anything coming close, but you do hear movement. A little bit of a kind of like a groggy kind of, somebody who's who's really hungover and waking up the next morning. You're hearing some of that, and you left a few creatures alive in the webs area, so it seems like they're starting to come to and kind of wake up.
Okay. I'll pass that along to whoever relieves me.
Next up would be other than that, the watch is fairly quiet, so next up it's Will.
Everything quiet?
Just heard some of the creatures that we left alive stuck in the webs stirring, but other than that, it's been quiet.
Yeah, there's part of me that is torn. Should we go take care of them? I know we have plenty of stuff on our plate, but
I don't think we should take care of them unless you mean dispatch them.
I'm gonna say it's a subjective term. Take care of them. Yes.
If we're going to take care of them, especially the evil creatures, I would be happy to slit their throats, but I'm not healing any of them.
yeah. I know. I just hate to see things suffering needlessly. So, what do you think of this new guy?
I'm kind of curious to see how he'll fit in. It doesn't seem like he's planning to stay with us long, but if we can help him and he can help us, I think it's a mutually beneficial arrangement.
Just wonder what he's doing wandering around down here. He doesn't seem to be with the other Durgar.
No, doesn't seem to be, but certainly was willing to help them, so we will have to bear that in mind.
Yeah, I wonder how the Durgar... I wonder how the Sverfneblin will respond if we bring a Durgar back to their camp.
I don't think it would be wise to lead him back to their encampment.
It might cause some undue stress.
I agree.
We already kind of messed up.
But at least we've recovered them, and some additional.
And then some, yeah.
So it may not be quite as bad.
Thanks for helping out. Getting rid of their poison. That's a nifty ability you have there.
It helps now and then, certain circumstances.
keep that in mind. If I ever get poisoned, I know where to go.
Yeah, once I can get rested and get my other spells back, my patron deity will also allow me to do some lesser restorations as well if needed.
Oh, excellent. Good, good. Well, speaking of rest, that rock over there is still slightly warm if you want to take over, swap out.
I'll probably just sit and review my memories and my trance and go through some mental exercises. So I won't, I'm sure you're aware I don't need sleep, but I'll be here if anything happens. I'll be ready to help.
All right. Maybe one of these days you could show me how to do that fancy foldy thing you do.
I actually should probably do that. It helps me concentrate.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Can you make a badger?
I've not tried a badger yet, so perhaps that would be my next attempt.
That would be cool.
So with that, then Anarion's going to go over and create a very little small fire, and he'll sit and pull out from his pack a piece of parchment and start doing his folding and origami and see if he can come up with a badger shape.
Go ahead and do a
Sleight of hand.
Yeah, let's do a sleight of hand. Sleight of hand sounds good.
That'll be a 21.
It takes you a little bit. It takes you a little bit of time, but you're able to kind of get a passing representation using Morin as a example.
So once it's done, he'll show it to Willhelminia, smile, and then toss it into the fire.
Will, go ahead and roll a perception check for your watch.
Okay, so for my watch, I'm going to just hop on my broom and just kind of hover around, make sure all the different groups of sleeping people are doing okay.
Yeah.
You said perception?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, which I get to roll with advantage. So that's going to be a 22.
Okay. Knowing what Anari told you about some of the noises during his watch, you listen and you hear a little bit more. You hear that some have kind of drifted away, and you also hear kind of a rough, kind of bestial noise, almost like something's eating.
From inside this room?
Yep.
Okay. I will try to locate the sound.
It's about, from your position, it's about 60 feet away. So it's you're just kind of hearing it. And it sounds like it's a large creature that's eating something.
I'll float over to Anarion. Something is munching. Something large is eating in this room.
Okay. With that, then I'll try to move in the direction that Will's indicating to see if I can get a visual.
As will I do like a pincher movement. See if we can
Remember, there's that trap that's at the doorway that was set, and you don't hear the noise coming towards you. You hear that the noise is kind of moving away from you.
Oh, okay.
But from the door, can I get a vantage without setting off the trap? Obviously, that would allow me to see what it was.
No, the columns kind of block your distance.
Even
And you've got
changing angles. Okay, that's fine. As long as it's not coming toward us and moving away.
You just see it in the back. It seems like one of the Umber Hulks had kind of come loose and it was starting to feast on the spider.
Okay. I'll relay the information to Will and then go back to my trance.
All right. I'll just kind of.
What else do you do for your watch?
Ear on that sound to make sure it doesn't start coming closer.
All right. Say again, Will.
I'll just kind of hover near that area for the rest of my watch and make sure it doesn't come closer.
Alrighty, so your watch comes to a close, and you go to wake up. You go to switch over with Obsidian.
Hey, Obsidian. Just be aware there's been some weird noises. Some of the things in the spider bags are kind of waking up. I think the Umber Hulk woke up and had a midnight snack.
Oh,
But it seemed to go off in a different direction.
okay. Thank you.
Yep. Now I'm going to go try to get some spells back.
Yes. Rubbing my eyes.
What do you do
Bright
for your
idea
watch,
was this?
Obsidian?
Literally just gonna hover on the broom, staring at the door, trying to stay awake.
Go ahead and roll a perception.
14 plus 8, 22.
You hear some of the feasting noise, but after a while, toward the end of your shift, your watch, you hear that the noise kind of drifts away,
Okay.
and things start to get quiet.
Okay. Thank God.
What should you do for your shift?
Nope.
All right.
Trying to do as little as possible, move as little as possible. I don't want to draw any attention.
Or fall off the broom.
Or fall off the broom. Yeah.
All right. So your watch comes to a close, and now it's time for Volkin's watch.
Yep.
So
Okay. I will go up and nudge Volkin and say good morning. And again, my most broken undercommon. Apologies for brutalizing your language. And I will relay what we've been hearing, or what I heard and what was relayed to me over the course of the watches this evening.
We'll just nod.
that's 2 watch cycles then. So Anarion would have had his long rest. So
Roughly.
I'll join Volkin just to chat with him a little bit while we're standing watch.
Yeah,
Practice my undercommon.
that's fair. So, what do you do for your watch?
While I'm watching, I'll walk around, and I'll actually forage for some food.
Yeah.
And I'll just get together some mushrooms and things like that. And then I'll create little bundles that I leave by everyone who's sleeping. But not the deep gnomes, because they're in the thing.
Yeah. So,
As
real quick, Shrag, describe what that hut looks like from the outside.
Currently it's going to be I think because obviously we're trying to put it against one of the doorways to try and block things through, so we'll make it actually opaque, so therefore it's going to nicely block off any view, so it's like a milky kind of white color to it that's probably like got swirls in it, a bit like the rock and stone to make it blend in.
So it looks like the stone wall, essentially.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
basically blending into it.
So, yeah, you see what's like. The gnomes are there. It's just it looks like wall. You can sense that, but so you leave little bundles right there at that wall.
Yeah,
Okay.
there and at the rest of anybody, because the rest are. Who's resting outside?
I was gonna say most of the party except Shrag is outside.
Yeah.
And a few of the gnomes that couldn't fit in.
Yep.
The ones that are probably the healthiest condition.
Yeah.
And a couple of them are kind of stirring because they've decided to take partial watches as well. But and talking amongst themselves in gnomish.
While Vulcan's foraging, I'm gonna ask him. So can you teach me how to determine what would be edible down here?
It has taken a lifetime to know. There are very many dangerous things to eat down here.
But I will take some time as I kind of pick things
Okay.
to kind of tell them what's good, what's not.
And then also, as I'm paying attention and learning these things, I'll continue and ask. So, what actually brings you down into this particular area of the Underdark?
Well, down here is my home. This is where I live, and I am a hunter. Just simple hunter. Looking
What-
for... Go ahead.
What do you hunt?
All manner of things.
Is it you hunt what you come across, or is there something particular you're hunting? We are hunting the pieces of the shards, but what is your hunt?
Beasts that I can salvage, sell,
Ah,
all manner.
I see.
Some maybe trophies. But everything is used. Nothing goes to waste.
I remember you were starting to show me with the spiders about harvesting, and I would like to learn this because oftentimes our methods are simply self-defense. But when we do hunt, I would like to know how to harvest properly so that there is no waste.
Yes, down here there is very little to survive on, and keeping things that you salvage could save your life.
This makes perfect sense to me. What area do you come from? You say this is your home. Are you in a community here, or do you simply make your way as you go?
I'm a wanderer. Make my way as I go.
I have met others like you. It's a tough life, but you are very strong to live through it this way.
I have her, and I look over at Morin, who's still like snoring in the corner.
Anarion will smile and nod, understanding. We thank you for your help. You have been a great deal of assistance to us since we have met.
It is survival. There is no need for thanks.
I hope that we can continue to cooperate and work together as we travel.
We will see what the fate will bring.
Fates can be fickle. This I know.
I nod.
And then I'll just keep wandering and picking up as much as I can as he's showing me the foraging skills and so forth.
Go ahead and roll a perception.
Woo, nice roll.
26 for Anarion.
Jeez.
Medium test.
Rolling hot today, John.
On some, I've had some pretty bad ones too today.
So, while Volkin is foraging and whatnot, kind of listening in, the things are still very quiet in terms of the webs. Not hearing a lot of movement or or any kind of sounds. It leads you to think that most of the creatures that were still in there, that were alive, have come to consciousness in some way and started to kind of stumble out. Not quite sure where they have gone. You know that none of them have come through your area. So, but things seemed very quiet here in the webs area. As you guys' watch comes to an end, the gnomes are starting to come to wake up, come to consciousness. At some point, the one that you saved from the nursery comes up and thanks you for helping him, saving him. Extends that appreciation. And we will go ahead and take a quick break and come back, and then work on traveling, figuring out what to do next, and make our way back to the Gnome Enclave. So thank you everybody for watching so far. Please stick around. We'll be back in.
It's all right. You're gonna torture us
back for
with
that
caramel
tea.
digestives. So.
And we're back. Alrighty, everybody enjoy their break. Get up, stretch around, do the things.
Most important.
Coffee, coffee, coffee.
Yep. I switched over from the coffee to the Mountain Dew, so, you know. Yesterday I made myself a second cup, but today I didn't feel I needed to. Yesterday I needed to.
Well, it's not even 9 a.m. here, so I definitely need it.
That's fair. That's fair. Alrighty. So yeah, everything you guys had fit. You guys are now starting you completed your long rest.
Yay!
You should. You're all kind of. Everybody's kind of waking up. The Shragnaz's spell dissipates. People are still a little groggy and whatnot, just because it's that sore and stiffness. You still have, just to again recap the area you're in. You have the Drider that you killed, laying there on the steps. Pretty much, even though you can't see it because I was trying to keep the map from being cluttered, it's literally where Shrag and Anarion are standing.
Just
put him
really
back
quick.
there so you can see.
Yeah, really quickly. I'm going to do the lay on hands to remove the poison from the last two.
Okay.
So everybody should now be no longer in a poisoned condition.
Yep.
Excellent. I
Okay,
wake
so
up
they're
and
all
see a little
good.
mushroom pack by my head, and I'm like,
And we are free of wild magics, right?
Yeah.
Yay.
I'm gonna thank Volkin for the mushroom breakfast and ask him which are the best to eat.
Oh, and what is this thing next to me? This
I
little
got one
bag.
too.
It's a little breakfast. And there's no special. They're fungus. Just eat them in whatever
Eat them.
order you feel like.
Is there any
Thank you,
special way to prepare, or you just simply eat them up?
Just eat them.
Very good.
Just eat them.
Let's go ahead and
Good.
eat the breakfast.
Since I have no way to talk to Vulcan because we don't speak any languages together,
As I
just
keep
look at him
telling
and I,
you,
kind of
as I
bow a
keep
little
telling
bit.
you, Will, as I keep telling you, because of your time talking with the deep gnomes, you guys have a
Passable.
tourist concept of the language.
Possible Underdark.
I thought that was just for the two that have the helm.
No, the two that have the helmet can understand him as if they grew up and spoke it as their primary language. For the rest of you, working with the last several days with the deep gnomes, you kind of have that tourist concept of the language. You understand, like, fork, knife,
Conversational Underdark.
Yeah.
Donde está la biblioteca?
Yeah.
Mhm, that kind of stuff.
Think about it in school. Think about it in school terms. You take Spanish 1, and you've completed the first semester in Spanish 1. That's the level of understanding you have of Undercommon. And so when you try there, it's that you try to your words naturally flip for what the word is in your in your language, but in between it's that broken kind of bit.
All right.
Yeah. And Hillary, the helm allows us to understand the meaning, but not speak it.
Yeah.
So we
yeah,
understand everything he's saying. Yeah.
Yeah, I just thought that because you guys have the helms, you were able to pick up on it faster. But now I know, and so I'll just say, thank you much, thank you. I think that's how you say it, right? Yeah, okay. Thank you.
I nod. And at the end of my watch, I'll collect my traps.
Yep. You pull the traps. The gnomes see the meals and whatever, and are appreciative. And they kind of, while they don't directly come out and say it, Vulcan, you can kind of see that they'll kind of give you a nod of respect and appreciation, but still a very kind of, they're not used to Duergar being nice.
Yeah.
But they're also not stupid in the fact that in the Underdark, nicety is not given freely. Kind of deal. It should be appreciated when it's given.
Yeah.
So the drow or drider rather carcass that's there.
Yep.
I'll point that out to Volkin and I'll say, is there anything harvestable from a drider?
DM, is there anything harvestable from a drider?
You know, driders are abominations
Yeah.
for most part. So, but
Yeah.
the fact that they are partially drow, there's the equipment drow carry. Like driders are typically stronger, beefier, but they still carry some of the things that are associated with the drow, like the drow poisons. There are venom sacs in a drider that make the poison a little more potent. So you can make an attempt to harvest that, and then whatever equipment that a drider would be wearing, because they would still be essentially wearing armor and weapons. That particular one happens to be carrying a +1 longsword,
Which we already got last time.
Yeah.
We did
Yes.
we did take all the weapons and stuff.
Okay, so I explained that, but it's clear that I don't agree with harvesting things from harvesting stuff from things that are unnatural.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
Okay. So I'll file that away for future knowledge.
Also, just to make sure I get all the details out to you in the gnome that said thank you, I did also point out, and he did point out that there was, while he was in there was actually a chest of some type in the nursery, but he didn't have a chance to really look at it because obviously gas spores were he still calls them beholders, are a lot more terrifying.
Well,
With that information, I'll look at the party and say, well, shall we go back and try to see what's there?
Absolutely. Shrag, you want to leave Matt with the gnomes again?
Yeah, she can stay and keep an eye on them. It's all good. What she sees, I see.
Perfect.
Volkin, does Morin seem like she likes ear scritches? Or does she seem standoffish?
She's standoffish. Anytime you kind of get close to us, her hairs go up a bit. And I've just kind of ignored it up to this point.
I will keep a respectful distance.
Yeah.
But I want to give scritches.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go see what's in that room.
Chest. He said something about a chest.
Yeah, hopefully the spores have been cleared out by now. Don't think they linger that long.
Hopefully not 8 hours.
Yeah, that would be some pretty persistent spores.
Now you go back up to the room, kind of lift the bar and step in, and you see the bodies of the 3 gas spores. Things have kind of settled. There's only that kind of that light haze of spores in the room, but it's not as dangerous. As you kind of looking through, Volkin, you know from being a native of the Underdark that certain areas that are heavy in fungus just kind of have this mist of spores in the air.
Yeah.
While it's concerning, but you don't want to linger long in these.
Okay. Okay.
Go ahead and roll investigation checks to see if you find the check.
Yeah, Anarion's got a 9, so I don't think he's going to be finding much.
Yeah, 9 for me too.
9 for me too.
9.
9.
That's like
Different show.
German denial.
Obsidian, what'd you get?
15.
All right. So as y'all are kind of looking about and seeing Obsidian, you're the one who finds the chest, kind of tucked in a corner underneath a couple of the larger bits of mushroom. It's a small chest, roughly about a foot by 2 foot by a foot, and probably about 18 inches. A little strong box type deal.
Okay. Hey guys, I found it. Hey Shrag, you've got the best sleight of hand. Would you like to come open and check for traps?
Or check for traps, yeah.
Yeah, let's have a little look. He like cracks his fingers and like says, yeah, bring it on.
Yeah.
So D&D's been a little slow. Waiting for the
Yeah,
investigation
noticing
check.
that. It does seem to... There we go.
Which is interesting because it's rolled exactly the same as last time. Hmm.
Did you just roll
Am I-
2 8s in a row?
Yeah, I think I might just refresh my page a little bit there.
And the chest goes boom.
Yeah.
The
And so
chest
do
is
we.
not trapped. So
Looks awesome. It's all good.
it's just got it's got a simple latch. Kind of get the feeling that where the chest was placed, the room is the lock.
Mm.
That makes sense.
So, do you open the chest in the room, or do you take the chest out of the room?
I'm going to take it out into the corridor. I'm going to place it on the ground. And I'm going to use prestidigitation just to flip the latch and just flip the lid over.
All right. You do that, and inside, you find some gems, 18 gems, and you see a small bag and a little potion vial.
I will hand the items over to Shad because he seems to Obsidian rather. He likes to gather these things up. Oh, shinies. Hey, is that them out?
Shinies. Ooh, gems, shinies. And I'll stick them in the bag of holding with the rest of the group's treasure. And offer, there were how many gems? 18?
18 gems.
Offer a couple of them. What are they? Rubies, emeralds?
Rubies and emeralds.
Diamonds?
The total value of all 18 gems is about 2,000 gold.
Okay. And I'll grab 2 of the gems and offer them to Volkin as appreciation for his assistance.
I'll nod. And thanks. Put them in my pouch.
Mushrooms for gems. That's a good trade.
The small bag is filled with a powder of some type, and then the vial has kind of a milky liquid inside.
So, Shraggy, I identify?
So, yeah, give me a minute. Or, in this case, 10. I mean, I'm taking...
And then I'll look in... Oh, sorry, go ahead, Shraggy.
I was going to say, we can stay in the corridor here. We feel safe enough, or do you want to do it somewhere else? Because I can do it now, but it will take a little while.
Well,
I also want to look at those doors.
Yeah, I want to check in the room, but I think if we're going to spend 20 minutes to identify 2 items, we should go back to where the gnomes are. I don't like leaving them alone after what happened last time.
Yeah.
And I want to look in the bag to see if I can determine what's in the small bag. And when I see it's just dust, I'm going to open it up a little bit and show it to Volkin and see if he has any understanding of what this may be.
Go ahead and roll an
How much were the gems worth?
The gems are the total pile of gems is worth 2,000. So
if there's 18, they're worth about $100, 100 gold each, ish.
Thank you for the math. I was
getting there.
Not my strong suit.
Saturday morning as well. It's just not the time for it.
Every day is the day for math. Come on.
Yeah. Easy 100
right.
gold each, so.
I would like to... I have a travel alchemical kit.
Yeah.
And so I just want to kind of collect some of these. Like I'll work with Volkin if he's willing. Volkin, will you help me find some things that can be used for alchemy? Poisons, interesting plants. I've noticed you have a keen eye for things down here. So I'd like to work with him to gather some goodies for my alchemical kit.
I'm not proficient in alchemy. And so I will ask specifically what you're looking for.
Poisons, anything with any sort of interesting properties? Healing, poisoning.
With your broken undercover, I say, I don't own property. I just kind of wander under dark.
Okay, that was the wrong word. Poison, healing, paralysis.
Oh, poison.
Ugh. Yeah.
Do I know of anything that's in the room that we're in? Obviously, you said that there was some nastiness we want to stay away from.
Yeah, there are. Looking through the room, you see there are molds, there are fungi, there are stuff that can be used to create a couple of different poisons, inhaled or applied.
Yeah.
So there's quite a bit. With your help, Will is able to get samples of up to about a pound of samples that she could then boil down into making poisons.
Cool. I offer some of them to Volkin. Do you want to take some? Okay. I better put these far away from the edible mushrooms. Okay, you go over here. You go over here. Okay.
And the preliminary thing was you were Obsidian. You were showing Volkin the dust.
Yes.
Volkin, go ahead and give me an investigation check.
That's a 19.
Looking at the dust, it looks like it's ground. It's kind of a ground up powder, fungus and fungal powder. It's a chance that it's probably something made by myconids.
Okay, I relay that.
Myconids.
Myconids. What do we know about myconids from our investigation of this area before we came down here?
Give me a history check.
12 plus 4 is a 16.
At 20.
Jeez.
Want to know? I want to know.
22.
Oh no, I was talking about Hillary's reaction.
Oh.
Oh, it's just reacting to his nat 20.
All right.
I got it working.
Myconids are living fungi that set up in communities here in the Underdark. You know from entry through one of the gardens that was probably a home. That was probably the type of environment that myconids live in.
Okay.
So I'll relay the information so the whole party knows. Yeah.
Yeah, we should hold on to this. They may be looking for this. We may be able to trade this for information or something.
Or just use it, whatever it is.
Well, we need to find out what it is before we use it, I would think. But yeah.
Unless you would like to be
Just throw it out there.
Nah, let's just use it. Here, let me take a bite.
Guinea pig.
Oh.
Is it
Seriously?
something that could be identified with the identify spell? No, moving swiftly on. No, because we don't want to turn into a mushroom or something. When she starts sprouting little like sort of things on her head, like no. So obviously I was basing that. Obviously it's like 10 minutes for identify to do the potion, but we're going to do the dust as well. Is that something that could be identified, Scoop?
It's a healing. It's essentially a healing potion.
Powder?
But it's the way it's made,
The
it
liquid.
doesn't appear the same as normal healing potions.
That does.
Cool.
That was
So
the
does
milky
this
vial,
look-
right?
Yeah.
The milky vial. Does this also then look like something that's the myconids work, since it's next to the powder?
That's a reasonable assumption.
Okay. So we should also hang on to this. They may be wanting this back as well.
All right.
Okay, so I would like to go back to that door.
Yeah.
And see if I can. I want to kind of push on the door and see if it'll open any, but I want to do it very, very slowly, as to be quiet and not alert anything that may or may not be behind it that someone's here.
You talking about the door on the back side of the room? There's you go to push on the door, it doesn't give. It looks like there's a bar. There's probably a bar on the other side. Given how when you try to push it out, it doesn't give.
Is there enough space between the doors where we could like put a sword through it
and lift the bar?
Could certainly try. Go ahead and give me a dexterity check.
Well, and if there is that big of a gap for the sword, I'd like to peek in and see if I can see anything before we necessarily try that.
Okay. As you look through that doorway,
Somebody pokes a sword through from the other side.
Ah!
That would be my luck.
So as you're standing there and you're kind of looking through, go ahead and give me a perception check as you try to look through.
8 plus 19, 27.
All right, you see that the tunnel kind of goes and then turns sharply, and you lose sight beyond where it turns.
So I'll turn. I don't know who all's behind us, but there appears to be a tunnel. So again, I don't know if anybody else can hear us.
Yeah. I feel like we need to get these guys back home.
Yes, but this may be the better route.
I was going to say, do we need to get them back home, or do we need to get them back to work at the closure of those tunnels, which is what they were working on?
So, assuming they probably know these tunnels better than we are, because if they've been this far to know that there's the issue with the, or believed beholder, should we ask them which might be the best way back?
And Volkin. Volkin may know too, since he's been wandering these areas.
Being dipping in, dipping out. If we actually describe where we've come from and the kind of tunnel structure and where we come from.
Or the gnomes explain the tunnel structure and where we want to go.
Yeah, get them to talk to each other and, yeah, get Volkin to guide us based on what they describe as to where we've come from.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, can I do that, Scoob?
Yeah. So you head back, talk to the gnomes. They're a little hesitant to share the information, but you're kind of in their good graces. So go ahead and roll a persuasion with advantage.
It's only 7. I have a -2 with persuasion.
Roll.
Dear.
Very charismatic.
No, that is not my strong suit.
Conversing with them, you get the impression that they have not been this far, but in looking about, the fact that you kind of get the feeling that this was the main threat that they were so concerned about. So they are really kind of wary and want to get back to their enclave. So they don't know much of the tunnel area here, other than the way, or even technically, realistically, how to get back to their enclave from this point.
Can I try and tell, just from the natural formation of the tunnels, from where I came from, my understanding of the Underdark, what the best way to travel back there would be?
Give me a survival check.
Yeah, I'm better at.
Can we give him advantage by like helping
20.
him? Okay, you don't.
I need it.
Trust me, he don't need it.
Never mind.
Yeah.
So turn left at Albuquerque, you go right down there, and you go straight down there.
To Rancho Cucamonga.
Yeah, you can. Even though you're newer, this area is new to you. given what you have seen of the region, you can lead them back. You can take a path to lead them back to the enclave. That is probably safer than whatever path that got them to this point.
Yeah.
Can we talk to the head of the gnome group and see, do they actually want to go back to the enclave, or do they want to go back to closing the tunnels that they were working on?
They've had a harrowing experience. They want to go back to the enclave and report
Can
back.
I try to convince them otherwise?
No, we don't need to, because
Okay.
the whole reason they wanted to collapse the tunnels was because of these floating eye creatures, which was
Yeah, but what we had talked them into was closing off the tunnels to expand their enclave. That was
Mr. Halfway
that
there.
was one of the big discussions we had at the very beginning.
Well, right now
But yeah,
they
that's
want to go
fine.
back. They
Well,
want
that's
to go
fine. We
back
can run back
home
to the
and
enclave.
have another crew get assembled to come out and do that.
Yep, that's fine.
So-
That's fine.
This has been a traumatic experience. I would
Yeah.
want to go home.
A little
after
bit, little bit.
this.
Plus, we're bringing back +1.
Yes.
The vengeance paladin in me just wants to go and kill some more things.
You could always go
Excuse me,
back
I'm
the
gonna
path.
close
You
the
could
door.
always go back the path you came and tempt
Go
fate
find that
there.
No, that would expose the gnomes, and he's not going to do that. Yeah, he's not going to do that.
No, but
What-
maybe
Jason, what
while
were you gonna
another
say?
party is coming together, we can come back and have some fun.
Let's
Yeah,
get
let's-
these guys home safe, and then we can smash some more things.
Ultimately, we've got a mission to do of actually get the information on that piece, and to do that, we need to get the doors closed. So let's get that a bit wrapped up first, and then once they're nice and safe, and the enclave's expanded, and all the doors are done, then we can have fun.
What were you going to say, Jason?
Scoop, can I take a second and do primeval awareness?
Sure can.
Okay. So I just take a moment, kind of close my eyes, and start to take in the surroundings. And because I'm within my favorite terrain, I used to hate when Todd used to do this. I can sense aberrations, celestials, dragons, elementals, fae, fiends, or undead within 6 miles.
Wow.
Six
Miles.
And
Miles.
Nice
DM becomes
range.
the player.
I love it.
Amazing. Different when the shoe's on the other foot, isn't it? 6 miles.
6 miles is bigger than this entire area. Yes, you see all of that stuff.
All
Yeah.
the things.
Well, if there's a dragon down here, we're in trouble.
Oh, that's true too. Jason's gonna be like, "Well, okay, I'm done with this stream. Next."
Yeah.
All right. So primeval awareness, fae, fiend, undead, dragons,
Aberrations, celestial,
aberrations.
fiend.
Do we want to know the answer to this just yet? Fingers and ears. No.
Yeah. Aberrations, celestials, dragons, elementals, fae, fiends, or undead.
Wow.
It's a good list.
Heck of a lot of creatures. And driders are aberrations.
Aberrations, yeah.
Yeah. So
doesn't say how many and
it's
where,
actually
but-
it's actually Underdark Bingo. There is all of that within 6 miles,
All
Including dragons?
except for the dragon part.
And he puts that in air quotes. That worries me.
But explain the air quotes, please.
There are
Oh,
celestials
dear.
and fae.
Potentially, there's been a lot of the Underdark has gone through a lot of shift and change recently.
Okay.
So there's a chance you could have some Celestials in here.
Got it. Okay.
But they're most likely at the fringes.
Yeah.
But a lot of the other creatures that you can tell, you're pinging at 6 miles. There's stuff all over the place.
Oh, interesting. It says or within up to 6 miles. That's an interesting caveat because I want to know if there's present danger. So I want to center at 1 mile and then
Okay.
find out what's in 1 mile and then kind of extend it out.
Okay. So for
Alright.
the first mile, things are relatively quiet.
Yeah.
There are you do get a slight tingle that there is some of the aberrations about, as your ring kind of expands out,
Yeah.
you start to pick up on more and more until it gets to the furthest edges, and
Yeah.
you kind of get the sense there's stuff there, but
Okay.
it's very kind of faint, and that's
So
where it's
maybe
like anything like a
Right.
celestial or whatnot.
Okay.
But within the area, you definitely are sensing the undead, the aberrations, the fiends.
The usual stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I asked the party, is the intention to go directly back at this point?
Yes, these
I
guys.
believe that's what the gnomes want to do. Is
Okay.
go home.
Which way do we want to go here, Steve? Based on that?
Based on that, there's the entrance you came in. Over here by the river. You could take that path back and lead them back to the enclave. It would take a couple of hours to kind of traverse around, and as you show them the path, it's because the party obviously is going to tell you, yeah, there's a stairwell that leads down that they came up, but they're a little leery about going back down that stairwell.
There was a big cadaver
Well,
collection
yeah,
on there.
we'll explain to him and describe what we saw down in that area, and tell him that's probably why we would wish to avoid that particular approach. It was a cadaver collector?
Cadaver collector.
Was what it was
Yeah.
called?
You saw a cadaver collector.
That face.
I think Volkin would probably need to roll a history check to see if he recognizes that term.
Or even if we give him the description.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you get the description that it's a mechanized creature that seems to collect corpses.
14.
Yeah, it's a construct of some type. You know that certain races like to build creative things, and this one is just one of those larger ones.
Yeah.
You all, as they described some of the other stuff, they saw ropers and puddings, and there was a large hole that they really were trying to, that they avoided, that they navigated around, but they're not sure what's in the bottom of the hole, and they didn't give it much thought other than they worked very stealthily to get through the area before getting up to you. They also describe another waterway with a waterfall, which you heard coming through the tunnel to exiting out around them. So taking that path, kind of leading through, and following the sound, it connects to another tunnel, a larger tunnel, which then can lead you south based on what the gnomes are describing toward the enclave.
Okay. All right. Is there any wild magic on the table? Because I'm going to take a pinch of ash from my pouch, and a sprig of mistletoe, and I'm going to kind of spread it around my head and speak a vocal incantation and do some somatic symbols, and all of a sudden a veil of shadows begins to radiate from me, and
Beautiful.
this silence, almost like noise-canceling headphones, kind of surrounds the group, and I cast Pass Without a Trace for the entire group.
Love it.
Is there trying to refresh my memory, is there a limit to how many creatures are affected by that?
Nope. For the duration, each creature you choose within 30 feet of you, including you.
Alrighty, so
Very, very nice.
plus
And that's
10
up to an
to
hour.
plus
Your
10 to
description
stealth
was
checks.
a lot better than mine.
He's a DM. Give yourself a break.
So yeah, casting that, you guys are kind of able to stealthily go through and start making your way back to the enclave. Obviously Vulcan is kind of leading this with the other with the gnomes.
Oh yeah, I guess we should actually roll those stealth checks.
Yeah, roll those stealth checks.
Oh, and can I
And
say
we
that?
would want them.
So
Sorry, go ahead, Will.
Can I just say that before we cast Pass Without Trace, I summoned some creatures out of my bag of tricks.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah. What do you summon today?
Let's see. Where did my D8 just go?
pass without trace adds 10, right?
Yes.
So 37 for
God
Anarion.
the boots.
Yep, 36 for Shrag.
Thank God for
Got
the
a
boots. I had a
massive-
nat 1.
Oh no.
Reroll is a 31 total.
I'm gonna say you do get your advantage.
Yes, thank God.
Thank
for the
goodness.
boots.
22 for me, only 15 for Morn.
Okay.
Warren, he's so loud and obnoxious. Oh,
It's the
sorry.
snuffling.
Yes.
Every day he's snuffling.
Yeah, I mean the
She,
gnomes
folks.
the gnomes are only
Sorry.
slightly quieter with a 17.
I got a 31 as well. And I summoned a mastiff, a goat, and a lion. And I will give Shrag first option.
Yeah, what's Shraggy riding today?
Yeah, he's gonna look at the line and go like, yeah, no, I think I'm gonna stick with the goat this time. I won't quite trust the lion after what you said last time.
And any of the Sverf Neblin that want to are also welcome to ride the mastiff or the lion.
Go ahead and roll a persuasion.
I wouldn't get on it.
There's the same mind of the nah.
Oh, my persuasion is so high. That's a 6 plus 0.
Yeah, they've not seen a lion before, so they're a little kind of intimidated, but they like, we'll walk. Thanks,
Cool.
we'll walk.
Actually, just to check, Hillary, was it a giant goat or was it the normal goat?
It's a regular goat.
Ah. He gets the saddle and throws it on the back of the lion, and he's like holds his arms up to you.
I got
Let's do this.
Alrighty, so you guys start to progress through. Oddly enough, the path you're taking is because I take it you're not going to take the same path the four of you traveled to get here. You're going to take Vulcan's and the gnomes stuff.
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
Absolutely.
All right, a couple hours pass, and you kind of navigate slowly through. And go ahead and give me another survival check, Vulcan.
Yes. Oh my gosh, this dice. 13.
You're going to have to travel with dice from now on, Jay.
I have dice here. Some mini dice upstairs.
So you get a little turned around, but it takes you longer to kind of get back on track.
I was gonna say, can he have advantage because of the gnomes?
Well, the gnomes can't really give it because they just know a rough direction. They've not actually traveled these tunnels.
Got it.
So yeah, you're essentially back. Vulcan is essentially backtracking some of the way he's come, but when it comes to like a particular fork or two in taking a different path, because these are smaller tunnels that have been dug in outside of the main pathways, and so he's taking it as he takes another turn, kind of passing through. At some point, it's like kind of gets turned around a bit, but then eventually gets you guys on the right track where you're moving south.
I also want to be tracking any sort of creatures I see as we go.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm keeping a keen ear out for Umber Hulk movement, Hook horror movement, any of these things.
Okay. Will, go ahead and roll a perception. And you're trying to, Vulcan's trying to keep an eye out for beasts and tracks, right? Okay.
I
So
got
he
a
had
22.
Huh?
22.
You're not hearing anything relating to those particular creatures. So no Umbra Hulk noise, no Hook horror stuff. You every so often you hear some chattering and some scurrying. But the worst part for you is the fact that it's outside your vision, and you're still kind of seeing that stuff occur. Volkin, you see with that last. Go ahead and give me an investigation for checking some of those tracks.
You want investigation or you want survival?
Let's make it survival because that's a tracking beast. My bad.
Yeah, it's all good. That is 23.
Okay.
Nice.
Very nice. You see footprints of like mechanical of like constructed nature. You see some scratches and carving and some scratches periodically along the wall, like something kind of brushed past.
Okay.
As some of the tunnels you pass through are actually very round, and as you kind of look at, it's like looks like at some point maybe a worm passed through here. You see some other kind of footprints and traversing back. The footprints seem to be some kind of quadruped type creature.
Okay.
Very large as it passed through. Go ahead and give me a history check to see if you identify those tracks.
Yeah, so actually I get advantage on survival checks for tracking favorite enemies. So if it's a beast or an aberration, I would get advantage on that.
Did you say the quadruped is also the construct footprints, or is that a different?
A different set.
Okay.
Sorry, is it a beast or an aberration, Steve?
Checking. I'd say it's actually a monstrosity. So
okay, so it's neither. So just regular history check?
Yep, just regular history check.
What is it?
16.
Hey, there we go.
You at first you think it's a quadruped, but seeing the tracks, it's actually multi-legged. And they're 3-finger kind of gripping into the stone as it passes through. Best guess is it might be a bier that it passed through at some point.
Mm-hmm.
But it definitely it's a very large set of footprints that passes through.
How long ago?
Probably about 6 months.
Oh, okay. So it's been some time. Okay. Wow. All right. Okay, I continue on.
Yep.
I mean, if there's anything that's fresh, that's more what I care. Like if I'll take note if there's any tracks along the way that are more fresh.
Okay.
Within the last day or two.
All right. As you guys keep progressing through, you do notice there are progressing through, getting closer to the enclave. You notice that there are some tracks that are fresh. There are some troll tracks, and there are drow footprints that pass through, and there are a few other bestial tracks. You do see as you get closer, you do see the Bjor tracks again. These are fresher, probably within the last few weeks.
Okay. I take note of that. Sorry, what were the creatures you said first?
Drow and trolls.
Okay, and those are more recent.
Yes.
How recent?
A few days.
Okay. All right, we keep going.
All right, keep going. Eventually, you get to a point where the gnomes recognize their path, and lead and kind of give you the signal that they recognize some of this area. It's a lot further south than you've been, so then the gnomes take over and lead you guys down in toward the enclave. and as you get close to the northern entrance of the enclave, that gate there, and there's a couple of guards that stop you, and as they at first they come, but as soon as they see Volkin, and they kind of ask to stop.
Before we get there, I cast invisibility.
Yeah, I was
myself.
gonna say we need to deal with that before we get there.
Okay, and
idea.
what about Morin?
We'll let her kind of walk beside me.
Okay.
She can still kind of smell me, and she'll just follow the group.
Okay. So
Yeah.
There's
a
wild magic on the
applied
table.
to it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say too.
yeah. So roll the d100, Jay.
Oh god.
It's fine.
Fine.
Says the guy who
47.
has always the positive thing happen.
Say again.
47.
It's fine.
So as you cast invisibility on yourself, right next to you, a unicorn appears out of nowhere. So you cast
here's
it,
your chance to
and you
get
kind of
your
look about, and then you
unicorn,
hear the noise of like a horse, and look over. There's a unicorn standing there, opposite of. It's like whatever side Morin is standing on, this one's the opposite side of you, where it stands there.
Here's Volkin's chance to get the unicorn.
But no, it's not between do you break the invisibility by attacking or do you...
Exactly, that's the question.
Oh, what a quandary! Do it. Get the unicorn. Do it.
What do I know about unicorns, Steve?
Go ahead, give me a history check.
As soon as that unicorn
Or nature
pops
check.
up,
Give me
I
a nature
freeze.
check.
I'm like, it's back.
That's a natural one.
Oh no.
They're evil
Oh,
creatures,
yeah.
they need to be slain.
Oh no.
Yeah, you've never you've seen you've seen it before, but you weren't really sure of it. The fact that this just appeared, but but if primeval awareness would have told you that this is a celestial.
Right.
It's also the second one you've seen in 2 days.
Yes.
Oh man.
The fates are telling you to slay the unicorn.
Oh gosh.
I just freeze and I'm like, what do you want to do, Vulcan? I know you want this thing.
Yeah, it's a little freaky to the rest of you as like Vulcan vanishes, and as he vanishes, a unicorn appears.
Shrug will
you,
turn and say,
Vulcan?
oh, that's a neat trick. I wish I could do that.
You did do that.
Okay.
Come on, no?
Gosh.
How far are we from the Sverfnevelin gate at this point?
You're just out of their lineup. You're seeing it. This is before they see you. So the gnomes are a little freaked out, and everybody obviously would have stopped because it's like, wait a minute, there's a Duergar here, and now there's a unicorn here.
Just so you know, Vulcan, this is only going to last a minute.
Do we know that?
Yeah,
Well, we
based
saw
on
the other one
the
disappear.
last one, yeah, I would say.
Okay. I tell Morin to sit.
Morin sits.
And then I tell everyone to continue on.
Okay.
Oh dear.
Based that, I was gonna say, based that we're close to the enclave and we're bringing the gnomes back, and I'm confident in his skills to find his way. We'll go ahead and proceed.
All right. So you guys round the bend and continue on to the enclave. The guards see that you're there and see the gnomes and kind of open the door to let you in. Once the last of you get around the corner where it's just Vulcan, Morin, and the unicorn are there. Vulcan, what do you do?
I know it's not a beast, right? I gotta decide how Vulcan feels about this.
No, it's
Mel,
a
should I kill the unicorn?
it's a celestial.
No, Mel says no. I shouldn't kill the unicorn.
Mel's gonna say no. That was the wrong person to ask.
I'm surprised she didn't tell you to stab it in the eye holes.
I was just going to say, you should
They said
rephrase the
they're
question.
surprised you didn't say stab it in the eye holes.
Can you touch its horn?
Oh, I'm so torn.
Oh dear.
Can I touch it?
Just think what
Okay.
you said last week, Jay, when you were there and it was in front of you, and you were like, "Ooh, I want one of those."
Yeah,
Is
Morin
there-
recognizes Morin is just kind of staring at it, and kind of he can't
is it
see
doing
you, but it's
anything?
kind of staring at this unicorn through you.
Yeah, is it doing anything?
No, it's kind of there. It starts to kind of plot around a little bit. A little, you can it just is there.
Okay. Is there cover? Are we just in the corridor right now?
Kind of in the corridor. There's a couple little bits of rock, but it's a fairly open corridor. It's about 20 feet wide, 10 feet high. This is one of the larger corridors.
Okay. I'm going to try and hide somewhere and take cover where it can't see me
All right.
within this corridor.
Go ahead and do a stealth with advantage because you're invisible.
Pass without a trace is up currently.
How
It's
long
been
does
over an
pass
hour?
without trace?
It's been over an hour, I think. You
Yeah,
said.
it would have dissipated close by this point.
Yeah, that's a 21.
Yeah. The horse is the unicorn's oblivious as you go to
Okay.
find
so
a spot
I
to
hide.
hide.
I cast Hunter's Mark on it.
Okay.
Boy.
Oh god.
And then I tell Morin to ready an attack action
All right.
Can a badger grapple something? Can it hold it down?
Yeah.
You can certainly try.
Okay, so I'm gonna take. So as a bonus action for my first action, I'm gonna cast Hunter's Mark on it.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask Morin to ready an action as my action
Okay.
for that 6-second turn because I only have probably, I don't know, not
You got
much
about
left.
30 seconds before the
Yeah.
unicorn would dissipate, but you're not.
Yeah. So for my first action, bonus action, Hunter's Mark, action, ready an attack to grapple this thing.
Yeah.
Next turn, I am attacking it with both my axes.
All right, hang on a sec. I want to give him some
No
inspiration
says you
there.
never listen to me.
All right.
I listen to you, Volkin.
Well, don't
has
forget,
a
you
different
also
heart.
still have that inspiration, D4 inspiration if you haven't used it yet. But Will,
Yeah.
that you got gifted one as well.
Yeah, 100%. So okay.
I'm
Oh.
donating a critical hit to Volkin.
Yep.
Oh yes.
Yep.
I am also going to donate a critical hit.
Yes, are horrible.
Okay. So all right. So 2 attacks.
Yep.
Oh, I can't redeem it because it's too soon.
That's a 19 and a 21.
Well, one of them would be a natural 20.
Yeah. So we'll make the 19 a natural 20, and then the other one's a 21. But Hunter's Mark just allows me to do 1d6 damage extra, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to hang on. And so how do you deal with
I do
How do you deal
crits,
with crits?
max die plus what you roll. I believe that's the
Okay.
exact same way you do it.
so 6 plus 6 plus 4 is 14
Okay.
plus another 6 points of
16.
damage.
6 and 6 is 12 plus 4 is 16.
Yes, that's what I meant.
Yep.
Plus another 6, 22 points of damage.
Okay.
Plus another 6 for another 2 points of damage.
So total damage on that is
22,
16 plus
28, 32.
32 points
32.
of damage.
Now I have 2 axes.
Yeah.
And that's dual wielding, and I have dual wielding. Do I get another attack with both axes? You can draw a weapon that has, in addition, when you hit with your range attack, you use thrown weapon, you can gain a +2 bonus to damage rolls. So I have thrown weapon fighting, so I also get +2 to the damage roll on those. So that's another +2. That's 34. 34. And then do I get another? I get another attack as well, don't I?
You have 2 attacks per action, and yeah.
Right. I can throw both times.
Yeah.
That's how that works, right? Okay, I'm gonna do that again.
John, were you able to redeem your?
No, I
Crit?
can't. It's out of stock, unfortunately. Otherwise, I'd have handed that over.
That's only a 9, but I'm gonna use my D4 inspiration.
Okay.
And I gave you a crit fail.
I see it.
That's 13.
13 will hit.
All
Okay.
my check points.
And then the second attack is going to be a 17.
That'll hit.
Okay. Damage on both of those. We're looking at 9 points +2 is 11.
Additional 11 points for both attacks.
Another 8, 9, 10. So it's an additional 21,
21.
right?
Everyone.
And then an extra D6 because of Hunter's Mark.
That's funny.
Per attack, right?
Per attack.
Yep.
Yeah. Hunter's Mark gives it per attack.
Per attack or per weapon? Per hit?
I think
Hunter's Mark is additional D6
Every
when
time
you
you
hit.
it's per weapon. It's per weapon. It's
So
per
that'd
weapon
be
attack.
an additional 4d6, an additional 2d6 of damage.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another, so that's 28, 27, 28, 31 points. So that's 63 points of damage.
Oh.
And more on attempts to grapple it.
Well, you did not one-shot it. So
I didn't? Oh,
opposing strength checks for Morin.
okay.
Oh.
Lord. That's...
I think
What?
that was almost all its hit points. I'm not entirely sure, but I think that's about.
Yeah, Morin only got a 5 strength.
Nope.
Check.
Was not able to grapple it. Now it's
Okay.
Unicorn's turn.
now it's the unicorn's response.
Oh my. Oh.
Unicorn gets a nat 1,
Nat 1.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nat 1 for the DM.
You're welcome, Jason.
So
I put all my
Thank
channel
you.
points
first
into
attack
giving
first
you one.
attack will miss. But it has multi-attack, so it will let me double check this.
But it's a crit fail.
Yeah, he has multi-attack.
Yeah, but he may be getting another. You may be getting another crit fail here. Oh, it's in cooldown. I can't do it.
Darn cooldowns working on our plan.
Oh my.
I cannot believe you summoned a unicorn.
Yeah,
That's just what you wanted.
So good.
that is
Can't wait to
just
take a unicorn
wild.
horn.
Yeah, it'll attack. It'll do its multi-attack. It tries to stomp with its hooves. Can't make. That's crit fail, so that's gonna miss. So it'll attack with its horn. And that is a 15 to hit Morin.
That is a good question. Morin's AC is 14.
Ah,
So it'll hit Morin for
the beast companion.
6 points of piercing damage.
Okay, got it.
All right. Now it's
Yeah,
your
makes me
turn.
that makes me angry. Okay, same thing.
Okay,
19,
that'll hit.
21.
That'll hit.
First one's going to be 9 points of damage.
And
+2.
it dies.
What happens when it dies, Scoob?
here.
You tell me how it dies. How do you want to do it?
I tell Morin to sit in front of it, and I run up Morin's back, and through the air, dig both of my axes into
Try to hack the hole
its
out.
head, and it dies.
Oh my word.
Nice. Very nice.
TCG Striker in the chat says rainbow blood spills everywhere.
Yeah, Volkin doesn't care so much about Celestials. All right. This is my best kill to date. Awesome. Okay, I am going to. What can I salvage from it?
It's harvesting time.
Yeah, go ahead and roll a survival check.
Yeah, I will.
Yes.
It's a 17.
All right, you're able to harvest the horn, the hub, the hide, and the hooves.
Yep.
It is a celestial, so it has it's definitely some rare items that could be used for crafting.
Yeah, I field dress it. I just start to open her up and do my thing.
Yep.
Thanks, guys.
After a little while, because as the rest of the party was passing through, because what is it? Your passive perceptions again are what? Anari, I think yours is like 20.
23 actually.
Obsidian.
Mine's 20.
Holy.
18.
Will.
What?
20.
Drag.
Oh, mine's nowhere near that.
Okay,
It's,
so
about 14.
Will and Anari, as you guys are walking through, you kind of knowing that the unicorn was there, and then all of a sudden you hear, for the briefest moment, the sound of battle.
I hear Volkin somewhere.
And then you kind of, what do you do?
Did you guys? I just like lock eyes with Anarion, and I'm like, you heard that too, right?
Heard it, but I didn't hear it. Let him do his thing.
I think he got it.
I think he got it.
Cool.
So you
I hope
guys
he gives me some goodies from it.
pass into the enclave, and the gate shuts for the day while Volkin is field dressing a unicorn. And that is where we will end this week's session.
Yes.
Oh,
That
so
was
fun.
awesome.
So fun.
So when they were talking about what's the worst that could happen, they weren't talking about us. They were talking about what's the worst that can happen for the unicorn.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was amazing.
For
so
your
fun.
knowledge, you had almost one-shotted it. You were 4 hit points shy of one-shotting it. And it was
Very
just
good.
so confused. It couldn't do any of its legendary actions or any of the stuff. It was literally like...
Great.
It was stunned.
That's so good.
Also,
Oh.
unicorns, they don't have, do they have dark vision?
Yes.
So it probably got
Oh, no.
summoned and was, okay, yeah, it does. Okay.
Yeah, they do. 60 feet.
That poor unicorn just got summoned and was like, wait, what? Ah!
Now, out in the
Love it.
world somewhere is a little baby unicorn going, Mom? Mom? Mom, where'd you
If
go,
anything, when
Mom?"
Volkin made that
Aw.
final attack, he heard in his head a voice going, "Why?"
Yeah. Yeah.
And a school of words
Okay.
we can't say on screen.
Because it's not like they're lawful good creatures or anything. I mean, what's the worst that could come of it?
So yeah, we will pick up next week and kind of see where things go from there.
Yeah,
Good.
we've
I
got.
gotta say, wild magic really makes things interesting. Sorry, go ahead, Johnny.
No, I'm gonna say we've got to explain now as to why we brought them back and we haven't finished digging all the holes in yet. It's like it's fine. They just got a little bit shaken up. They just need to have enough
Well,
rest.
On the upside, we did take care of their quote unquote beholder problem, and
Yep.
we've recovered a couple of extra missing gnomes. So that's in our
And-
favor.
In theory, technically speaking, once they finish knocking the caverns in, we've actually expanded their enclave as well.
Yeah, exactly.
That is plausible.
Then and beneficial for most parties except the unicorn.
Which we don't know about. We were not there. We did not see it. I certainly didn't hear it. I had nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
However, any creature that takes a role, no matter how small, in slaying a unicorn is likely to become the target of divine retribution.
I heard nothing.
I heard
Was this
nothing either.
Here's the good news about that, Jay. You were the one that generated the wild magic. We were gone before you started your attack, so that's all on you, buddy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny.
Steve's making notes. Steve's literally, divine retribution. Got to make sure I put that in somewhere.
That's definitely going to come back to
Something to research for later.
Oh my word.
Yeah.
No, technically speaking, our paladin heard it as well. Our paladin heard it.
The vengeance paladin who will allow the lesser evil for the greater good.
Love it.
Yeah, I've researched that quite thoroughly to make sure that that aligns with what Anarion thought patterns are.
Wow.
So Volkin's gonna work up and you're just gonna go, greater good. Wow, greater good.
I
So
just
good.
love the funny coincidences that come up in D&D. We randomly summoned a unicorn last battle. He saw it for like 15 seconds and was like, oh. And then the one wild magic you get, it's like, poof, unicorn.
Yeah, you're welcome.
It's the fates.
Oh, that's awesome.
We'll see
Well,
what happens.
I
We
think
will
it's
see what
funny, too,
happens in the future. Who knows?
I think it's funny too that that's the second one now that appeared. The first time he didn't get a chance at it. The second time he did.
So good.
Yeah, fun stuff.
So good. Can't wait to make a weapon out of it.
I hope you got some of that blood, because I bet that could be cool in an alchemical set.
Yeah, it talks about its horn being, anyways, we can
offline that one. Yeah.
Amazing.
So
With that, thank you everyone in the chat for watching. Hope you enjoyed this as much as we did, especially that last little bit at the end. Real quick, again, shout outs for Syrinscape for all the background musics and soundboards. A shout out to to you guys in the chat, to the moderators in the chat, and to my wonderful cast who took the opportunity to spend Saturday morning playing some D&D, and all the support from their families and loved ones that are in the background, probably giving them an evil eye for, wait a minute, you're doing this on a Saturday morning too? Maybe, who knows? Real quick, any shout outs or anything you guys want to plug or promote? Or just in general?
I want to know if Jason and John have any little sneak peeks for Monday night that they would like to share.
Yes.
I know nothing.
Peaks.
I don't know how much Jason wants me to reveal on our side of things.
Expect the unexpected. That's all I'm gonna say.
The known knowns and the unknown knowns.
Yeah.
That's true.
And the known gnomes, like the popular gnomes that exist.
The known knowns.
Yeah, the known gnomes. There's a couple.
So tune in.
Now I need there to be like a thief organization of gnomes called the Unknown Gnomes.
The unknown gnomes.
I'm gonna make this a thing.
That'll be fun to build out. Gotta love Kofin. So tune in tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, here on this channel for Challenge Accepted, our season 3, episode 2. Tune in Monday nights over on Realmsmith here on Twitch to watch the next episode of Tides of Wildmount to see what happens to the party there. Tomorrow morning, Sunday with Scoob over on YouTube, gonna be painting a squad of orcs for our morning painting session. And then Tuesday, of course, is Scuba and the Raw at 9 p.m. over on YouTube. Come hang out, continue the conversation. If you're new to the channel and like this, please consider follow. If you want to support the studio and the things that we do, head over to patreon.com/scubastudio to join as a patron to get behind the scenes access, exclusive access, and to help make this channel and this content better for all of you to continue to enjoy. With that, have a great afternoon. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Love each other, and we will see you on our next stream. Goodbye, everybody.
Take care, all. Have a good one.
Bye, everyone.
Ow.